Hi everyone and happy Thursday. Kylene Terhune here, functional and diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And today I'm going to talk about excuses. Now, just to clarify this and sort of preface this, I used to be that person. Hi Rebecca. And when I got together with my husband, and his focus is, hi Mark, is on leadership, I learned very quickly that what the outcome of your life is determined by your decisions, right? So success or the end result of anything is small choices that you make on a daily basis. So small choices made over time consistently is what you end up achieving, whether that's good or bad. Right? So if you end up with a job that you absolutely love and you're surrounded by positive people and all these wonderful things and you just have an amazing life, that is because of specific intentional choices that you made. Same is true if you end up miserable. That's usually because of choices that you made. And I have been on both ends of the spectrum. And so it takes a lot to dig in and really take personal responsibility for where you are and where you want to go. So I'm going to talk about this, of course, in terms of your health and specifically your nutritional choices. So this sort of goes back to the video I made last week about, not letting your kids call the shots, right? If your child is not eating healthy foods, that is not their fault. That is your fault because who is the parent, right? So that is based on parenting choices that you have made. Whether good or bad, whether you want to change that or you're okay with it or whatever, it is your responsibility. That's like saying, hey, my dog poops in the house every day. I can't believe she does that. But I don't do anything to change it. I just let it happen. And I'm not comparing your children to dogs. But I know that if Coco goes in the house, that's my fault because I didn't take her out. It is my job to train her to go outside. It's my job to put food in her bowl. It's my job to decide what food goes in her bowl. It's my job as a parent to put food on the plate for Keegan and decide what he eats. So if you didn't watch that video, go check it out. But it's my responsibility in this house. Now what he does outside of the house is his choice, but what happens in this house is my responsibility. I have no ability to make excuses for the food that I put on the table. Hi Haley. So I was thinking about this recently in terms of travel because August has been a crazy travel month for me. I was in San Diego, I was home for 10 days, I went back to San Diego, so West Coast, Eastern, West, it was just crazy. But so often I work with so many women that they will just make excuses, right? Well, I was traveling, so this was hard, or I got really busy and this was hard, or I'm totally stressed out and this is hard. When you're traveling, it's still an excuse. You either do or you don't, but stop making an excuse for it. If you have a goal, you can achieve it if you actually decide internally that you're going to achieve it. My husband and I travel all the time. I know for a fact that it is difficult in an airport to make the same types of food choices, hi Charity, that you will make in your own home. But I also know for a fact that it is possible not to negotiate on your non-negotiables when you're traveling. So for example, if you're somebody that says, hey, I'm traveling, that means that I can have alcohol, that's an excuse, right? Is that a behavior that you would normally do at home? Now, I'm not saying don't splurge on vacation or anything like that. I'm talking more in terms of like, hey, this is a business trip, I travel regularly, and then all of a sudden that becomes an excuse for a behavior that's not really your goal, right? And then you're like, well, why can I not lose weight? Why are my hormones not balancing? Why do I feel gassy? Why am I tired all the time? But when you leave the house, all of a sudden you don't stick to the same goals and the same rules and the same lifestyle, high wind, that you have in your home. That's an excuse. So don't be one of those people that's like, well, I can't give up alcohol or I can't give up sugar because it's my birthday month. Like every day this month is your birthday? No. Like maybe you have some, cake on your birthday or whatever, but is there, hey guys, is there that, if you're saying for, this entire month I can't give up this food or I can't make this healthy choice or I can't do this or I'm not accomplishing my goals, That's your fault. That's not the birthday month's fault. So stop making excuses for yourself, okay? And there's so many different, reasons that we do this. And one of the main reasons is emotional eating, right? And I just recently sort of started tuning into this myself, and I've been there, I've done that, I still probably do this. And one of the big emotional reasons, like we kind of associate emotional eating with binging, right? But that's not necessarily, that doesn't cover all of the aspects and the whole rainbow of emotional eating. Usually you might have like an association with a certain food, or like I just mentioned, traveling. Because traveling is difficult, maybe you associate that with higher carb because you're stressed, or alcohol to de-stress, or whatever it is, or it's just too hard for me to make these decisions, so you have lots of carbs, lots of alcohol, lots of sugar while you're traveling, and then you wonder why you're not reaching your goals. And like I said, it's not about not having a vacation, not splurging, but I'm just saying, make a conscientious choice. You either do or you don't, but don't make an excuse for that choice. Hi, Kristen. And it's okay one way or the other, but don't say but this, or I can't do this, because that's just simply not true. So emotional eating can be so many different things, but a lot of times it's like the context or the feeling or the emotion that we surround about that. So I'll give you an example for my personal life. I find myself finishing a plate or overeating a little bit, even if it's like perfectly healthy food, totally healthy food. I'll find myself finishing a plate because I just identified this recently. There's like this little fear in me because a couple years ago I had total hormonal crash. I had depleted all my carbs, all my fats. I was over exercising, and it was like the worst period of my life. You guys have heard me talk about this many, many times. And so in terms of increasing my calories and feeling better and having more energy and sleeping great and increasing my healthy fat intake for my brain and my hormones and all this kind of stuff, there's this little part of me that's like, oh, better not undereat, so I might have the tendency to overeat. So that's like an emotional thing, right? Because that's based on a fear. Hi, George. So you can have a wide range of emotions that prompt you to do things in a certain way, and a lot of times that allows us to make an excuse for our behavior, and we have to stop doing that. If you're not reaching your goals, whose fault is it? So we have to look internally and be willing and be willing to say, I'm willing to change this. And normally that has to come with an underlying reason. For me, one of the biggest motivators when I started changing my diet and changing my life was brain health, right? Like I really, really, really don't want to get Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, anything that affects my brain as I age. I want to live until the day I die, right? So that's a huge motivator for me. But we have to always step back if we're not reaching our goals, or we're experiencing a setback, or we're traveling, like I said, or whatever, and really be able to look internally. And if you are someone that is making excuses for behaviors that you actually don't want in your life, then you have to stop. You have to be able to take personal responsibility and say, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm going to change it. And don't let situations or environment or people pressure you. I wanted to touch on one other thing with this, and that is the Christian perspective of vanity. So I am a Christian, I'm a conservative Christian, and so I can speak to this from my personal background. But so often in the Christian community, you hear, oh, I can't focus on my body, or I can't, put too much emphasis on eating or whatever, because that's vanity. And I just want to say right now, that's garbage, okay? Here's the real deal with that, okay? Your body, if you are a Christian, your body is the temple of Jesus Christ, right? You're the temple, the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, you are a vessel. So while you should not be 100% focusing on external appearance and, primping and vanity and all this sort of self-focused stuff, if you are truly a temple, what are you feeding your body? And are you feeding it garbage? Because what does that say about your spiritual belief? So you have to get away from, I can't be healthy because it's vain, and find a balance. Hi, Barb. And you have to find a balance that works for you, where you're not, focusing on vanity. You're not doing like a physique competition, but you are focusing on utilizing the body that you have for this life, you're getting the best sleep, you're getting the most energy from your food, and you're giving yourself the nutrients you need to actually have a vital life and do the things that God wants you to do. And like I said earlier, it's okay one way or the other. You don't have to have a six-pack. You don't have to want a six-pack. It's okay if you do want a six-pack. It's okay to splurge sometimes, but what's not okay is to splurge and then make an excuse for it and feel guilty about it. So either make the decision to say, I'm gonna eat this, I know it's not the best thing, and then you eat it joyfully and say, I'm gonna experience this with my friends, it's my birthday, I'm traveling, whatever it is, and there's no guilt. Or you say, nope, this is my goal, I'm achieving it because I understand that A plus B plus C compounded over time takes me to the end destination where I want to go. So it's time to stop making excuses. So I would love to hear, because I just recently identified, like I said, the emotional component for myself. I would love to hear if there's anything that you are currently struggling with, if you're able to identify it, and then please share how you will reword that, reinterpret it, and take charge and stop making excuses today. That's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you have an awesome Thursday. Bye.